Hey everybody, and welcome back to my pregnancy vlogs. Here we are, second trimester. And by second trimester, we are going to talk about weeks 14 to week 19. I think technically second trimester starts at either 12 or 13 weeks, but there's enough questionable there that we're just going to say we're starting at 14 weeks. Nothing really changed much between all of that. But I will say, once I kind of hit that 12 to 14 weeks, I definitely had a significant turn in how I was feeling. Generally, I've still had a very decreased appetite. Nothing ever sounds good. I really don't feel like I've had a lot of cravings so far. I have just been super not interested in eating, but like I know I have to. And probably the worst culprit with this though is vegetables, which is terrible. This is a terrible, terrible thing to have happen. But my husband cooks a lot of vegetables. And even now there are, like, he did broccoli last night and the smell just got to me. So I'm basically on like raw carrots for any vegetables I'm trying to have. Because everything else is just still the textures and everything just hits really, really bad. Oh, I guess I forgot to talk about that in the first trimester kind of wrap up, the smells, but that kind of fits into the nausea. So it was just, it's been rough. Anyway, once I hit that 12 to 14 week trimester flip, significant decrease in the worst symptoms. So I was not vomiting as much. My nausea really decreased. Still pretty tired, still pretty fatigued, but I was able to go more days without napping, or if I napped, I could stay up later, which sounds so stupid, but like, you do what you can when your body just demands for you to be resting. A couple new symptoms for the second trimester, pretty mild. I brought out my pregnancy pillow. I can't remember what week I did that, but I brought it out somewhere at the end of the first trimester. I have one of those U-shaped pregnancy pillows. It was super cheap off Amazon, and so it's really thin. It's just like an extra pillow at the back, and then when I go side to side, it just means I can put like a pillow between my knees and keep my hips more straight, and that helps me sleep a lot better. But I have started to get a little bit of pregnancy insomnia. Still waking up a lot to go to the bathroom, but that's not surprising. But you know, a lot of times I'll wake up and I will just be up for 2 hours, and hopefully we'll go back to sleep. Although there have been times I've just sucked it up and gone through the day. So that is super fun. Very, very fun stuff. I think that's been the only really new symptom. I should have started talking about this last video, but I can talk about it with this one because there's so few symptoms. I popped, I would say about week 8, I had like a really firm stomach, and anyone who knew me could tell that I was pregnant. I'm week 19, I would say in the last month or so, it's way more noticeable that I'm actually pregnant and not just fat, which is always good for me because I'm a bigger woman to start with. So, you know, if you can tell that I'm pregnant, that's all. That always feels good to me. So I'm really looking pregnant. I guess I'm starting to get a little bit of like, it's really hard to get up off the floor. But I mean, I don't know. I don't consider that a symptom so much as it's just a physical change in my body, which was gonna happen anyway. Other than that, I think that's basically all of the symptoms. The basic thing is that everything is kind of still there, but just like significantly less, way more livable. I don't know if you can tell, I'm recording vlogs again. So that hopefully means that I am feeling at least a little bit better in terms of my symptoms. Okay, so I actually got very, very lucky in that my parents had to stop watching Graham because they needed to go and help one of my sisters, which meant they left, and when people leave and come back, we require at least 2 weeks before we see them again, which is actually coming up this next week. We can see them again. But my my in-laws, my wonderful in-laws, actually took Graham for a full week, which was just wonderful because there had been so much that I had been putting off with just keeping the house clean. So they were able to take him for a week. I was able to just catch up on cleaning the house. And unfortunately, a lot of what that meant is like, oh, I would do a little bit on this day and then rest a lot, and then do a little bit the next day and rest a lot. But the house is in much better shape than it was. I feel so much better. It feels like we're getting stuff done, and part of that includes starting to get the baby's room ready. So what we are doing is Graham is actually going, Graham has moved out of the nursery. We spent a lot of time painting his new big boy room and getting it ready for him. So he would feel really good about that. And I actually have a vlog, should be coming. I don't know when it's coming out in relation to this. But you can see we painted his room, and he is a big fan. You know, there's lots of car stickers everywhere. It's blue and it's red, and he loves it. So the nursery now, the furniture needs to be rearranged so that it feels, I want to put it back the way it was when we first had Graham, because just the way that it worked, the way that the furniture was, made a lot of sense for that room. We also need to fix a couple things in there. We took down a bunch of there were a bunch of like wire shelves in the closet that Graham decided he could climb. So we're gonna replace those because the baby can't do that, and make it more usable. And then once that's ready, I can really start doing baby laundry and kind of getting into the next couple steps of nesting, which I love nesting. I'm so excited. And that's kind of part of like my next thing is getting all of Graham's smaller toys, move those up to his room, and we're just shifting everything around. So there's a lot of stuff that's about to come up out of the basement in the next month or so, once we get some things cleared up. Other than that, Graham's been home, and we've just been, you know, taking every day as we can. You know, a lot of times we're stuck inside, but thankfully it is starting to get warm, and that is making a huge difference in just being able to do things with him. So that's what we've been doing in terms of getting ready, and just, you know, how am I balancing being a mom to a 2-year-old versus while being pregnant. So the next thing is I had my next doctor's appointment. Honestly, this is one of those appointments that I just find really useless. I know it's important. I guess I should say this is like a very mundane, is that a good word? This is a very boring part of pregnancy for me. So I had an appointment on March 3rd, met with my nurse practitioner. It was really fast, you know. I went in, they were able to find the baby on the Doppler, talked with her briefly about some things that I was experiencing. A lot of congestion, which is normal for this time of year for me. When the weather changes, I just get a lot of sinus stuff. I should say when the temperature changes. When the temperature changes rapidly, I just get a lot of congestion. But pregnancy's definitely made that worse, which made my nausea a little bit worse. So, you know, talk to her about that stuff, but it's just kind of a boring appointment. You know, it's just making sure they can still hear the baby. And when I say this is kind of the boring thing, this is what I'm talking about. It was a very just by the books appointment, you know, there was no ultrasound, didn't talk to my actual doctor, didn't make any plans for my C-section. Just very, very, very boring. And I kind of remember this from last time, getting not annoyed, but just like, ugh, what is happening? Cause you know, your first appointment, skipping the intake, your first appointment, you get an ultrasound. Second appointment, I didn't have an ultrasound I did have an ultrasound last time because I had to come in early. I came in 2 weeks early for spotting, and then I went in 2 weeks later. So I still got ultrasounds. But then there's like 2 to 3 months where nothing happens because they can't, like the next big ultrasound is when you're 20 weeks. And that's the gender one. And you know, that's what I look forward to. I look forward to the ultrasounds. I love seeing the baby on the monitor. I really wish I could film it because it's so cool. But unfortunately, they won't let me at my hospital, which is fine. But that's just, you know, that's the exciting stuff for me. That's what I enjoy doing. And that's the exciting part of pregnancy, is being able to see the baby on the monitor for me. So unfortunately, we're in just this like very boring time of where I just had to wait. Boring time, waiting time, whatever you want to say. And that is pretty much everything that's been going on. There's only about a month between now and where the first trimester ends, so not a lot has happened. My next appointment, I have April 5th and April 6th, but I'm going in for my gender appointment, the big 20-week one, and then I have an appointment with my doctor the day after, and I'm pretty sure that's when we're gonna schedule my C-section date. Like I said in the previous video though, I'm pretty confident that that will be moved up. Just the way that my blood pressure was towards the end of my pregnancy with Graham, I really don't think I'm gonna make it to 39 weeks. My big thing, I don't really care. As long as, you know, I'm able to do my C-section safely. There's only one date I don't want to have my baby on, and that's the middle of July, because my sister's birthday is that day. And if I'm doing a C-section, I feel like I can be like, hey, can we actually do like the next day? I mean, I don't know how this works, but I'm pretty confident that I won't have the baby on her birthday, and it'll be fine. I'm trying to remember, but I can't, when I start going to bi-monthly appointments. I feel like it's pretty soon after the 20-week appointment. I could be wrong, but I feel like it's pretty soon. I'll have to go back and watch my other vlogs. But other than that, that's where we're at. Cause let's see, when I go in for my appointment, I will be 22 weeks. I was a little upset by that. I was like, we could have done it at 20, but at least we'll be more sure, I guess, what the gender is, and more sure of, you know, how the baby's growing. But 22 weeks, that's definitely over halfway, even if I was going to 40 weeks. I have a feeling I start doing twice a month. The tricky thing that's going to happen here is I would really prefer to make it work so that Cody doesn't have to take time off of work to watch Graham, so we can really save up as much vacation time as we can for him to be home when the baby is born, especially because baby's gonna be here in July, end of July, so you know, we still have half a year left. And the way that him and I like to store up vacation days when I was working, and him in general, is we like to save them all for the end of the year. So we'll see how that goes. But anyway, I'd really like for him to be able to use the time for when the baby gets here, and not just taking off work to watch Graham. So my hope is that pretty soon my parents are going to be vaccinated. Once they're both vaccinated, we'll probably waive a lot of the 2-week wait time for them, unless it's like they're really going a lot of different places. And that we'll both feel way more comfortable about leaving Graham with them, so that, you know, for appointments and things like that. So fingers crossed, we will see. But yeah, that's where we're at here at 19 weeks. Well, I guess technically 19 weeks and 2 days. I'm gonna attempt to touch base at least every week, if not every other week. Try and put some notifications in my calendar so I remember to do it. And we'll see how that goes. But the next thing coming up, we're gonna do gender stuff. So we'll see how that goes. I might try and do another gender prediction video. Maybe, we'll see. But until next time, thank you guys so much for sticking around to watch my pregnancy vlogs. And I will see you guys next week. Bye!